Good morning, Miss Autumn. Autumn, can you hear me?
Yeah.
Okie dokie. Good morning, Dylan.
Good morning.
Good morning, Joseph.
Good morning.
Did you hear me say good morning, Dylan?
Yes, ma'am.
Okie
Good
dokie.
morning.
Just making sure you could hear me. Good morning, Miss Ivy.
Morning.
Good morning, Miss Abby. Good morning, Mackenzie.
Good morning.
Miss Abby, can you hear us? We'll get started in just a second. I think Abby was having trouble and she closed out and she's coming back in. Good morning, Abby.
Good morning.
All right. Any questions from the 4.2 homework? That was not bad. What about 4.3? You only had to watch the day one video, and the things that you can tell from the first derivative are whether the function's increasing or decreasing. You don't really have to memorize the first derivative test. You can just think, if the slope of the tangent line is going uphill, the function's increasing. If the slope of the tangent line is going downhill, the function's decreasing. And wherever the function changes, here's the big thing. If you give me some function, I'm just going to give you the derivative. Let's say I have a function whose derivative is 2 times x minus 5 times x plus 4, then what are the critical numbers for that function? Assuming it's just a polynomial function and nothing makes it undefined.
X equals 5 and -4.
-4 and 5, right. So you put those on a number line and you look at the sign of the first derivative. In each one of these three intervals. Maybe test the derivative when x is -5, and maybe when x is 0, maybe when x is 6. If you let x be -5, then the first derivative would be positive, because you'd have a negative times a negative. If you let x be 0, you'd have a negative times a positive. And if you let x be 6, you'd have a positive times a positive. So wherever the first derivative is positive, that tells you where the function's increasing. Wherever the function's negative, that tells you where the function's decreasing. And here's where I'm saying you don't have to memorize the first derivative test, because it makes sense. Wherever the function goes from increasing to decreasing, that's going to be a relative what?
Maximum.
Yeah, if the function was going uphill and then all of a sudden it starts going downhill, then that's going to be a relative max. And at 5, the function was going downhill, and then it changed and started going uphill. And so 5 is where there's a relative what?
Minimum.
Yep. And that's pretty much all there is to 4.3. Some of the problems, actually some of the day 2 problems are a little bit harder to differentiate and find the critical numbers, but we don't have to worry about those today. So do you need to ask me anything from the notes? Anything at all from the notes? Hey, tell me what strictly monotonic means.
It's only increasing or decreasing on the interval.
Right. It is always increasing or always decreasing on a specified interval, or you could say a function is strictly monotonic over its entire domain if over its entire domain it's either increasing or decreasing. It doesn't curve around any. No questions from the notes? What about 4.31 through 31 odd? Have trouble with any of those? So what you're telling me is, nope, I got the first derivative test, I understand it, and I can do all the problems 1 through 31, right?
Yeah.
Now, if you don't have any questions, you can go back to bed. But you got to get up soon and do that homework. Let me think if there's anything else I need to tell you real quickly. So today you'll watch the day 2 video and try the day 2 homework. And just to be looking, when's our test coming up? We have another whole week to cover 4.4, 4.5, and 4.6. So I probably wouldn't start looking at the practice test yet. Sometime next week I'd start looking at it. Hey, if you don't have any questions, we're through. Does that sound okay?
I have a question.
Yes, ma'am.
How is the test going to work?
That is a darn good question. It's gonna have to be like your homework in that I will choose some problems. Like I said, I don't have access to this book in the testing system, but I have access to other calculus early transcendental books, and that's what I've been choosing your homework from. So I will just choose test problems from the same thing, and any teacher worth her salt, any teacher who is honest, knows that no matter what honor contract she asks a student to sign or what software she uses to spy on the students while they're taking a test or anything I could do, it's still possible to cheat on an online test. That's why I would never give an unproctored calculus test in any other situation. But this can't be avoided. So I'm trusting y'all to just know that this is important if you're going on to Cal 2, and that you have to know it if you're going on to Cal 2, or else you're going to be lost in Cal 2. So it's pretty much the honor system, and it'll be very much like problems from your homework. I'll just pull about 20. I'll try to make them where there's multiple parts. I'm not going to just give a multiple choice test, but I could give a test that has multiple parts, and I could ask you possibly to send me a picture of your work. You know, submit the test, but then send me a picture of your work just to prove that you did something to get those answers. Is that a good enough explanation of what I expect, Mackenzie? Okay. Pretty, I haven't had time to look that far ahead yet, but that's what I'm expecting. Online test, and probably send me a picture of your scratch work. Any other
Alright.
questions? Somebody start to say something? All righty. Y'all have a great day then. I will see you tomorrow.
Bye.
Bye-bye.